Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Erby, Councilmember Page.
Here.
Councilmember Wassinger, Councilmember O'Meara,
Here.
Councilmember Dolan.
Here.
Councilmember O'Leary,
Here.
Councilmember Harder.
Here.
Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
Move approval of the journal of the meeting, March 15, 2016.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Journal is approved. We have no bid openings. Move to communication.
Mr. Chair, there are no tax compromises, zoning matters, or road and bridge matters this evening, so move to other communications. Under other communications, item number 1.
Receive, file, and the county councilor be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation. Same motion for item number 2, and that will be the order.
Item number 3, second district.
Receive, file, and agreement be approved as recommended.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries.
Item number 4, second district.
Receive and file.
So ordered.
Item number 5, sixth district.
Receive, file, and the county councilor be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered.
Item number 6.
Same motion, and that will be the order.
Item number 7, second district.
Receive, file, and hold on the order of business.
So ordered.
Item number 8, second and fifth districts.
Receive, file, and the county council be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered.
Item number 9, second district.
Receive, file, and county councilor be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered.
Item number 10, fifth district.
Receive, file, and the county council be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation, and a copy of this report be sent to the city of Clayton.
So ordered. Add-ons, please.
Yes, sir. Item number 1, seventh district.
Adam, sorry. The receive, file, and the county councilor be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered.
Item number 2, sixth district.
Receive, file, and refer to the Department of Planning.
So ordered.
Item number 3, seventh district.
Receive, file, and the county councilor be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered. Move on to county executive.
Nothing further to report this evening, Chairman.
And we have a committee of the whole report. Am I reading that, or is that coming from the district?
Well, we had it down on here as Councilmember Dolan because he chaired the
Okay.
meeting.
Yeah, well, I move that the report of the March 15th, 2016 meeting of the Committee of the Whole be received, filed, and adopted as submitted, that the council approve the petition, establish a district as set forth in the petition, and find that the area described in the petition constitutes a blighted area under the CID Act, and the county council be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries, and that will be the order. Public forum.
We have 9 speakers this evening, Mr. Chair.
Please state your name, your address, and keep your comments to 3 minutes, please. First person.
Dora Owens.
First, I want to say, give honor to God and to our Honorable Mr. Stinger and to our county council members. Forgive me, I'm not feeling very well. My throat's a little sore. But I want to say Happy Holy Week, first of all. And I want to also say that my circumstances are the same. I have escalated to Central Intelligence to try to find my son who's in the military. Perhaps it may help me with the, additional resources to identify his abduction since 2011. As far as the county, I have not received any other assistance as to how to address my petitions in the Adult Abuse Office. The last time that I spoke, I talked about a scripture in Titus talked about God's elected officials, which is how I perceive you all as elected officials to do God's work for helping our people to do what God would have us to do. And I also spoke about some pastors and church leaders perhaps using their authority and titles to permeate our judicial system, and perhaps the Adult Abuse Office may be one of those offices that may be perverted by these gentlemen and maybe even some women, sabotaging the efforts to protect whatever it is that we need to have happen as far as restraining order and other items. And I ask that you all as council members, if you are the right forum, to look at the process to see if they cannot have access to the information, being church leaders. The Bible does say church is separate from state, so that when we are violated, and let me give you an example. I used to be a children's ministry director at the First Baptist Church of Chesterfield. When they left the old establishment, which was right behind Chesterfield Mall, and they moved on Wild Horse Creek Road, they didn't have a ministry. And I was able to fulfill a ministry for them, five-faceted. When I left, just because our church split, and I had to fulfill both the office role as well as the ministry role, which caused my at-home situation to become very burdened. I'm now divorced because of it. When I left, I was granted the threat that I would be arrested by Lynn Hart at a church council meeting. So what I would like to see is if you can help us to feel protected, and that the people in the offices know that church leaders do not supersede the law. The purpose for Easter this week is that Jesus came to fulfill the law, not to deny the law or break the law. And we thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Abir Moten.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Abir Moten. I am homeless, and I'm advocating for all the homeless. And I'm the founder of Global Bridge, the Future Fusion for Life Foundation. First of all, I want to say is, if you have granted money to these organizations who embezzle the funds and do not give it to us homeless and do not work it right, I want you to hold them accountable, to pay it back plus a fee, a charge for all their embezzlement, for all their falsifying information, even on the Pathway Community Network program. And I want you to stop those freeloaders of their relatives being in those shelters and all the organizations to help the poor, disabled, homeless, and destitute. Because, first of all, they're just embezzling it. They're just taking more and more funds. It's not like there aren't many organizations in the government that embezzles. Now, I want to let you know that the lady who attempted and who hit me several times inside the shelter over at Salvation Army Family Haven is related to FBI agent Elvira Kolar. She is a relative of Mary Kelly with Visiting Angels of Webster Groves. She's also a relative of attorney Robert Hamilton, and forensically to Faisal Khan, who is the director of health with St. Louis County. And forensically, they're related to St. Louis County officer Robert Morley. Now, on Thursday, John, my friend, had a job opportunity. He went and took a test. He passed it. He did good. After that, we went to stop by this something called Churches on the Street. You know, the shirt that I only have a few shirts, and people have been trying to give me boy shirts or little girls shirts. So if you know, even the pajamas that I wore here when you saw me, I had no choice but to wear them. But this is not my style, really. But it's clothing. But when I go there, they want to give me men's clothing, whore clothing, strip clothing. You know, when I was there, you can watch. They had a lady take a stick, as big, thick stick like a branch, and threaten. I don't even know her name. Two sticks. Two ladies had two sticks ready to hit me, and they want to bust my teeth. These ladies are connected to Elvira Kolar, to Vatel Jackson, to the lady who hit my back in the shelter, and also to the owner of Churches on the Street, which is Ralph and his wife. They had Barnes Jewish employees there, and one of them was Kim Cameron, who's related to attorney Robert Hamilton. Marshall Day, did I tell you that the lady who hit me is related to Marshall Day? Marshall Day is the operations manager for St. Louis County Family Court. They made threats trying to intimidate me, threaten me, trying to record me. ESPN 101 was out there trying to record me. So I just want to let you know about that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening.
Next speaker is Jamie Opsel.
Good evening. My name is Jamie Apsel, and I'm with Seniors Count of Greater St. Louis. I am here today to speak in support of requested legislation by Councilman Page for a senior service fund. Seniors Count of Greater St. Louis was first started by the Daughters of Charity. The Daughters of Charity are one of the few foundations left in the St. Louis region who provide funding for organizations that serve the elderly. They see an increase in the number of older adults needing assistance, but their funds stay stagnant. The Daughters of Charity discovered that there was a statute on the books in Missouri since 1990 which allows counties to fund a senior service tax. This fund would provide a revenue source to assist organizations who currently serve the elderly. If passed, a senior service fund would provide funding for needed services that allow older adults basic assistance to age in place. This allows them to stay in their community and avoid being prematurely institutionalized. Since 1990, 51 of the 114 counties in Missouri have passed the Senior Service Fund. However, it has never been introduced in the St. Louis region. What started as an idea with the Daughters of Charity has now grown to a coalition of over 200 organizations who form the Seniors Count Initiative of St. Louis. They come from diverse organizations such as hospitals, businesses, social service providers, religious organizations, foundations, and older adults and their families. This initiative is regional. We are also working in the city of St. Louis and St. Charles County. Our mission is to improve the health, nutrition, and quality of life for adults 60 years of age and older. This issue is of particular significance to St. Louis County, as the population of residents 60 years of age and older is projected to increase from 18% in 2000 to 27% by 2030. Thank you for considering this issue that affects so many in our community.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Carol Rodriguez.
Good evening. My name is Carol Rodriguez. I'm with the Alzheimer's Association in St. Louis, and I am also here to speak on Seniors Count. Specifically, what I'd like to address this evening is a possible scenario of how Seniors Count could be of benefit to individuals in our community that have Alzheimer's disease and the caregivers who care for them. So I'd like to talk briefly about a program called Respite Assistance. But first, I want to share just a few facts to set the stage about the number of people who have Alzheimer's. And these facts are state-based, but I think we can extrapolate down at the number of people that are impacted. It's over 110,000 people who have this disease. That will increase exponentially over the next 10 years as the baby boomers age. Alzheimer's is a very long and expensive disease for families, and it has immense burden and hardship on those who are providing the care. In the state of Missouri, we like to say that there are 3 caregivers for every person who has the disease, and so that comes out to around 300,000. But the toll is quite great. So a number of years ago, there was a program called the Respite Assistance Program implemented in Missouri, and it receives some state funds, albeit less than $500,000 for the entire state of Missouri. So as a result, we implement this program. It allows caregivers to take a much-needed break and have relief from the day-to-day hardship of caregiving. And it is a program that provides some financial assistance enabling them to do so. However, the need has outstripped the funds that are available, both at the state level and in our community. In St. Louis County, I checked this afternoon, there are close to 60 people on a waiting list. Some have been on that waiting list for over a year because all the funds have been distributed. Seniors Count could provide a funding stream to help those families on the waiting list down the road and the other families that need to be served. Because one of the realities is we do not advertise this program, so there are numerous people who could be served who don't even know about it. In other communities, seniors' account has been used for home-delivered meals, for in-home services, for transportation. This is just one example. I appreciate your consideration for this important initiative and to Dr. Page for his efforts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Mary Beth Westhoff.
My name is Mary Beth Westhoff, and I reside at 3020 Lakeview Park Drive. I'm here talking about the Pinnacle development. We are aware that the subdivision is requesting a building permission for building 41 homes on 13 acres behind our house. I am not totally opposed to such an idea, but there are several very real concerns that I have. Number one, the lot size. Nowhere in this area are there lots as small as 6,000 square feet, and this land would not support such small lots. It would create a concrete jungle with too much water runoff, additional noise due to loss of vegetation and trees, loss of wildlife, and much too much traffic for the narrow roads around us. Our lot is just over 11,000 square feet, and our house is pretty close to our neighbors. Smaller lots would create much too much congestion. Would you be setting a precedent for other areas to build homes on lots as small as 6,000 square feet? This land will only support 30 homes, not 41. Lots under 10,000 square feet are totally unacceptable. Would you want this for your home and neighborhood? Number two, there's a tower on the property that I can see out my kitchen window. Fortunately, in the summertime, it is not as visible, but I hear it loud and clear the first Monday of every month. I can hardly believe that anyone would want this right in their backyard or their front yard. There is no amount of vegetation that can mask its presence. When the tower was built, there were specific guidelines and restrictions on the contract. These restrictions were written for safety and are law and not to be ignored and cannot be changed. Since when do we start ignoring laws if it's not convenient? Would you want this for your home and neighborhood? As a taxpayer of this area, it would seem that concerns of the surrounding neighbors and myself should have a say about this development and be taken into consideration by the council members in their final decision. Unfortunately, my pockets are not as deep enough to make much difference. Would you want this in your neighborhood? And finally, you have a paid job to represent and watch out for St. Louis County residents. When this many homeowners keep coming back and question the feasibility of such a development, don't you think it's time for a look and see what we are talking about? Would you want this for your home and your neighborhood? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Jim Hamilton.
My name is Jim Hamilton. I live at 5260 Autumn Winds in South County. When we started down this road about 5 or 6 months ago, we had a whole lot of things to learn, and something that I was told early on is that in the various hearings and the council meetings that it's really not polite or accepted to ask questions of the committee and council members. Too bad. Councilman O'Leary, you voted no to send this forward at the PIC hearing, saying that you wanted to support the residents of the 6th District, but you voted for it since then. Can you tell us
Jim, this is actually
why?
public comment. It's not to be asking questions. It's a public comment, so you just make comments to the council.
Well, I intend to do that, but I'd like to have an answer that I can comment on.
It's a public comment.
Public comment.
It's not a public question, it's a public
Okay.
comment.
Okay. Okay, but then we'll just put it to you this way. I'm sorry that you chose to discontinue supporting the residents of the 6th District. Councilman O'Leary, or Councilman Dolan, I understand that it was on the basis of a recommendation by Director Powers that this situation be referred to the PIC committee. What we did not know and what he did not share with us is that when he did that, he would transfer the power of the introduction of this for a bill to the committee and take it away from Councilman O'Leary. That was not shared with us. Just want to make that clear. So we were surprised that when that occurred, that for what reason we don't know, that someone decided that Councilman O'Leary should not be the one that does this. Executive Stenger, I sent you an email also. I wanted to know if you could veto this thing, and you responded that you don't vote. But I just want to clarify that I do hope that you understand you can't veto it if you wanted to. Okay? We also express a lot of concerns about issues that we believe that this development is violating a number of the ordinances that are in place in St. Louis County. And so I had a question for the counselor. But I'm just going to say I hope that he would not recommend to any of you that you vote for something that will violate your own ordinances. All right? When each of you were elected and given one thing only by that election. You may have assumed a lot of things since you took office, but you were given one thing, and that is the privilege to represent the citizens of St. Louis County. And you're doing a poor job of it in this respect. When we began researching other issues related to this development, it was determined that the tower had some problems. And again, Mr. Powers said that that's a small problem and not worth worrying about. Well, let me say to be clear, I want to give you another example of a minor violation of the rules that that I think you will support.
Jim,
and that is that I refuse my right.
Your time is up, Jim.
I refuse to give up 3 minutes for my right to free speech. I know it's a minor thing, so I know you're going to let me continue to talk because.
No, I'm not.
Well, I think you should.
Time is up.
But I haven't finished what I have to say.
Sir.
I have like 8 or 10 violations of county ordinances if you do this. And so you're just going to throw me off the stage. I'm going to make comments. I'm not going to be asking any more questions, but I think it's important that you hear these things.
We're asking you in a polite manner. Please leave. Next speaker.
Douglas Bronkhorst.
Douglas Bronkhorst. I live in Lakeview Park subdivision. I'm also one of the chair people for CORE, Concerned Oakville Residents Engaged. Through this process, it's been a hard process, and I feel the same way that we should have we have several hundred concerned citizens, one developer. Not once did any of the council people, except Kevin O'Leary, actually take a ear to our concerns. And I think we had some very valid concerns. And through the scheme of things, I think what happened was the planning department gave Pinnacle the go-ahead from the very beginning, not knowing that there was going to be any opposition. Our second and only hope was that Kevin would listen to us. He met with us, and it went into the PIC committee. Somewhere in conversation out of the PIC committee, I think Kevin was told to step down. He was not going to have a say. He was not going to be able to bring this to the floor and say, no, we are not going to introduce this. I am representing the concerned citizens of my district. Mr. Dolan, when you gave a final decision on the PIC committee, you said it is not the council's duty to stand in the way of someone to develop property that they had purchased. Excuse me. What is your job? Your job should represent us. Listen to our concerns. All we were asking for, we had several concerns. Listen to us that all we wanted was consistent lot sizes with our neighborhood. I worked all my life to live where I'm at, and now they're going to put in these little homes next to me. That's not right. And I think it was the Oakville call. I'm trying to talk as fast as I can because I only got 3 minutes. And this from the last meeting, in a twist from the typical way county legislators have introduced to the subdivision, was not introduced by the councilman. Why was that a twist? I would have called it an underhanded, convoluted twist. That was not right. He was the only councilman that was going to stand up for us, and you took his rights and our rights away from us. That's not right. I'm asking you not to pass these two bills, 55 and 56, and if they pass, County Exec Stinger, I ask you to veto, put them back into council and reconsider them. You know, this goes back to the church. And I remember you, and I think it was Ann Wagner, you were on TV, 5 o'clock, said you did not understand the concerns or the impact, the way the citizens were voicing their opinions on that project. This is the same way. That's kind of a half quote there, but hopefully I made my point that we just feel that we were not taken seriously. And, you know, Pinnacle Development bought this property. I don't know, you call them dumb. I think what happened was the planning committee said, go ahead, you're going to have a problem, you're going to have a problem, until our opposition came.
Time is up, Doug. Thank you.
Anyway, thank you. And we're not done, so thank you again for at least listening to us, and I'm sorry that they made you decide that
Next
you were
speaker is
no longer
Marty
going
Templin.
to keep your job.
Evening, my name is Marty Templin, 5208 Autumn Winds Drive, 63129. First thing, since I can't ask any questions, I will point out this to the whole council. Today, I sure hope permits haven't been issued already, because Budovich was up there today pumping water into the ground and sucking it out, hooked up to a fire hydrant with no permit tag on the fire hydrant. Then they dumped this sludge in the rear of the property, in the ravine that will run into our lake eventually. We have to maintain the lake. Now, we've got problems from a runoff that they may not even have a permit to be doing what they were doing today. That's number one. Number two, common ground. What is common ground? Okay. The Planning Commission's own definition, common ground, common land, is to be used for the benefit, use, and enjoyment of the owners, of the homeowners and the lot owners. How can that be with a cell tower in it that some third party is going to reap the benefits of the lease agreement? That does not meet the definition of common ground. Thirdly, as someone earlier stated, you're here to represent us, individual taxpayers. Remember the verbiage, government of the people, by the people? We don't see that. It's government for whoever comes forward with the most money. The people, the good people of Oakville have been through this once, twice, 3 times. Maybe it's because we're an unincorporated area, but as we had plenty of people here for the first hearing, but you know what they're all telling us? It's the same old story. Government, business as usual. They don't listen to us. They don't hear us. It's just a lip service. They don't take the citizens seriously. You want to know why everybody's pushing for Trump? Because they're tired of the good old system, the good old boys. This is crap. People need to wake up, start representing the people you're supposed to be representing, and the good of the whole county, not just certain areas. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty.
Final speaker this evening is Herb Westhoff.
I don't think so. That's a different one.
My name is Herb Westhoff, and I live at 3020 Lakeview Park Drive, and I'm a resident of the same subdivision as these other people that you've just heard some rather vehement comments from. I think that the main concern, as far as I'm concerned, is the density of this subdivision. 6,000 square foot lots is not an appropriate amount of yard, shall we say, for homes in that area. And I back up to the west side of this development. I don't think that our members of the subdivision are against progress. But you folks asked, when you were elected, to be the representatives of all the members of, or all the constituents in the county. And I, like other people that were just up here, don't feel that we've been getting the representation that we deserve when it doesn't seem like anybody listens to us. So I'd like to just remind you that we're not against progress, and it's your job to direct and control that progress in a reasonable fashion that not just developers or people with money want to create, but in a fashion that's good for all the people of the area there in Oakville. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Herb. Introduction of bills.
Bill number 66, introduced by Councilmember O'Leary, an ordinance approving a petition to St. Louis County, Missouri for the creation of the Afton Plaza Community Improvement District, establishing the district as a political subdivision of the state of Missouri, finding that the district is in a blighted area, and directing the administrative director to notify the Missouri Department of Economic Development of the creation of the district. Bill number 67, introduced by Councilmember Dolan, an ordinance declaring the public necessity of and providing for the opening, widening, and establishing of a section of public road designated as Big Bend Boulevard, lying wholly within the city of Maplewood, St. Louis County, Missouri, directing the acquisition of real property therefore, and authorizing the county executive to execute contracts, agreements, and related documents. Bill number 68, introduced by Councilmember Page, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a contract with Happy Trails Quadricycles LLC for operation of a recreational equipment rental service in Creveport Park. Bill number 69, introduced by Councilmembers O'Meara, Page, and Harder, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a cooperative agreement with the Missouri Department of Conservation for prairie planting and prescribed burns in county parks and appropriating funds received in support of the project. Bill number 70, introduced by Councilmember Harder for Councilmember Wassinger, an ordinance amending ordinance number 26,009 as amended by repealing and reenacting Section 2 pertaining to PC 30-14 John P. King. Mr. Chair, that is all the bills.
Perfection of bills.
Bill number 8, introduced by Councilmember O'Meara.
Hold, please.
Bill number 61, introduced by Councilmember Dolan for Councilmember O'Meara.
Take it up, move for perfection, bill number 61.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Bill number 61 is perfected.
Bill number 62, introduced by Councilmember Dolan.
I move to perfect Bill number 62.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Bill number 62 is perfected.
Bill number 63, introduced by Councilmember Dolan for Councilmember O'Meara.
Take it up, move for perfection, bill number 63.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Bill number 63 is perfected.
Bill number 64, introduced by Councilmember Dolan for Councilmember O'Meara.
I can take it up, move for perfection, bill number 64.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Bill number 64 is perfected.
Bill number 65, introduced by Councilmember O'Leary.
I move to perfect Bill number 65.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Bill number 65 is perfected. Final passage of bills.
Bill number 116, introduced by Councilmember Dolan.
Please hold Bill number 116.
So ordered.
Bill number 47, introduced by Councilmember Harder.
I would like to move for final passage of bill number 47.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Erby, Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger, Councilmember O'Meara.
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Leary.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on bill number 47, there are 5 ayes and 2 absent.
Bill number 47 is finally passed.
Bill number 48, introduced by Councilmember
I
O'Meara.
can take it up, move for final passage, bill number 48.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Erby, Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger, Councilmember O'Meara.
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Leary.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on bill number 48, there are 5 ayes and 2 absent.
Bill number 48 is finally passed.
Bill number 49, introduced by Councilmember O'Meara.
I can take it up, move for final passage, bill number 49.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Erby, Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger, Councilmember O'Meara.
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Leary.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on bill number 49, there are 5 ayes and 2 absent.
Bill number 49 is finally passed.
Bill number 50, introduced by Councilmember Erby.
I move for final passage of bill number 50.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Erby, Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger, Councilmember O'Meara.
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Leary.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on bill number 50, there are 5 ayes and 2 absent.
Bill number 50 is finally passed.
Bill number 51, introduced by Councilmember O'Leary.
I move to hold bill number 51.
So ordered.
Bill number 52, introduced by Councilmember Page.
Move for final passage of bill number 52.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Erby, Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger, Councilmember O'Meara.
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Leary.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on bill number 52, there are 5 ayes and 2 absent.
Bill number 52 is finally passed.
Bill number 53, introduced by Councilmember O'Meara.
I'd like to take it up, move final passage, bill number 53.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Erby, Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger, Councilmember O'Meara.
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Leary.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on bill number 53, we have 5 ayes and 2 absent.
Bill number 53 is finally passed.
Bill number 54, introduced by Councilmember O'Meara.
Take it up, move final passage, bill number 54.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Erby, Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger, Councilmember O'Meara.
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Leary.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on bill number 54, there are 5 ayes and 2 absent.
Number 54 is finally passed.
Bill number 55, introduced by Councilmembers Dolan, Page, and Harder.
I move for final passage of bill number 55.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Erby, Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger, Councilmember O'Meara.
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan.
On these two bills, I just make a quick comment. The reason we held a PIC was to give the residents and everybody concerned additional time to discuss their concerns and give the developer time to explain their side. And we had a presentation from the planning department, and that was due process as it is, and according to the P&Z and planning department, which I've checked on since then, just to verify that everything has been done properly, and the developer's done everything they were supposed to do and asked to do legally within, and they have. And for that reason, I vote aye.
Councilmember O'Leary.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on bill number 55, there are 5 ayes and 2 absent.
Bill number 55 is finally passed.
Bill number 56, introduced by Councilmembers Dolan, Page, and Harder.
Move for final passage of bill number 56.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Erby, Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger, Councilmember O'Meara.
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Leary.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on bill number 56, there are 5 ayes and 2 absent.
Bill number 56 is finally passed.
Bill number 57, introduced by Councilmember Harder.
I'd like to move for final passage of bill number 57.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Erby, Councilmember Page. Councilmember Wassinger, Councilmember O'Meara.
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Leary.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on bill number 57, there are 5 ayes and 2 absent.
Bill number 57 is finally passed.
Bill number 58, introduced by Councilmember Harder.
Move for final passage of bill number 58.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Erby. Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger. Councilmember O'Meara.
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Leary.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on bill number 58, there are 5 ayes and 2 absent.
Bill number 58 is finally passed.
Bill number 59, introduced by Councilmember O'Leary.
I move for final passage of bill number 59.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Erby. Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger. Councilmember O'Meara.
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Leary.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on bill number 59, there are 5 ayes and 2 absent.
Bill number 59 is finally passed.
Bill number 60, introduced by Councilmember O'Leary.
I move for final passage of bill number 60.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Erby. Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger. Councilmember O'Meara.
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Leary.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on Bill number 60, there are 5 ayes and 2 absent.
Bill number 60 is finally passed. Resolutions.
We have 11 resolutions this evening, Mr. Chair. Resolutions number 1 through 10, introduced by Councilmember O'Leary.
I move for adoption of resolutions number 1 through 10.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Erby, Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger, Councilmember O'Meara.
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Leary.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on resolutions number 1 through 10, we have 5 ayes and 2 absent.
Resolutions 1 through 10 are adopted.
Resolution number 11, introduced by Councilmembers Harder, Page, O'Meara, Dolan, and O'Leary. Resolution, whereas just last week, the decision of the St. Louis County Police Department to equip its officers with naloxone paid immediate dividends when 2 of the county's finest were able to save the life of a person who had overdosed on narcotics. And whereas while the County Council and the Department of Health have recently established legislation and a program intended to reduce narcotics abuse, the problem will not be easily or quickly solved. Still, people and their loved ones can be saved some of the heartache resulting from narcotics abuse when first responders are given the tools to provide effective life-saving aid. Now therefore be it resolved by the County Council of St. Louis County, Missouri as follows. Section 1, the County Council strongly encourages all municipal police departments, fire departments, and fire protection districts to equip themselves and train for the use of naloxone, is that how it's pronounced?
Naloxone.
Which has proven to be a useful tool and part of the first line of defense in saving lives in St. Louis County, which might otherwise be lost to narcotics abuse.
Thank you.
Adoption.
Move for adoption of Resolution 11.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Erby, Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger, Councilmember O'Meara.
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Leary.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, on resolution number 11, there are 5 ayes and 2 absent.
Resolution number 11 is adopted.
We have nothing under unfinished business, Mr. Chair, and under new business, we have 1 prepared order.
I move for the adoption of order number 1.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Order number 1 is adopted.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Everybody have a good Easter. We are adjourned.